Hey everyone, welcome to the RFD channel, and today I have a new lure making video. So in today's video, we're going to make another swim bait, and this was the second swim bait that I made with the rock bass swim bait. For this bait, I did get some fishing in, so stay tuned. So I saw this on another channel. I don't remember which channel it was. I watched it and then I didn't pay attention to who showed it to me. And I was like, that's a great idea. Let's go do it. And so I tried it out on this bait. You take your weight and you hot glue the weight onto your bait about where you think that it needs to be added. And then you can test and see if you need to add more weight or if you need to take it off and trim off the weight. Now, ideally, you want to start kind of too heavy and work your way down, trimming down the weight. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes you trim off too much, and so you need to add little pieces back on. What's really nice about this method is you can kind of see what your bait's going to do, or roughly what it's going to do before you actually seal it or add all the weight. So getting the weight right in a bait is kind of the hardest part of making the swim baits. I mean, carving and stuff takes some skill, but once you get used to it, it's pretty simple. Weight kind of gets to be more judgment based, so you get kind of used to how much weight you need to add to a certain size, but you don't always take off the same amount of wood every time with every bait. So it does vary, but this allows us to kind of get pretty close. Now, I noticed that it seems to slightly overshoot the weight because we are going to be displacing more volume because we're going to have the volume of the weight hanging down. Now, this probably doesn't affect bigger lures as much, but the smaller the lure you get, this actually will probably be a nuisance. So you may end up having to cut the slot and maybe gluing your weight in the slot or just below the slot to kind of make up for that difference. But in this one, we're just going to glue the weight right to the belly. So as you can see, all I had was a watering pot, and we're just going to test these pieces in the watering pot and see if they sink or float. With this bait, I'm trying to get a suspended bait. So we're going for a very slow sink, and we really want to just kind of let it go, have it just kind of sit there. That would be neutrally buoyant. More than likely, we'll have a little bit of a rise or a little bit of fall either way, but I tend to want mine to fall just a little bit to stay down onto the water column instead of sitting at the surface. In my opinion, it's better to err on the side of usability. What's more usable than the other? Surface baits are great, but usually if you can sit just below the surface, it's a little better. So once you get the weight figured out, what do you do with the hot glue and the weight that's on it? Well, the great thing about this method is the hot glue comes right off with rubbing alcohol. That's all you need to use. Sometimes if you got it sealed good enough, you don't even need the rubbing alcohol. It'll just peel off the slick surface of the sealant. So I'm adding the weights after it's already been sealed because we don't want the water to get into the bait and influence our weighing method. Now, once we get the weights figured out, we just add those weights in like this. All right, we finally got the lid to kind of smash in there. Let me make sure I'm getting the right way. Finish cleaning it up once it's in there and hard. We're going to use this medium super glue. Kind of seal up everything in there. Sure, this is going to come out when I do this. Yep. Sure enough. I got the baking soda. So, just kind of gets everywhere. Using the super thin. You want to drop it on. I can go ahead and hit it with an accelerator. I don't have to though. There it is. So moving on to the painting, we're doing this in a kind of sexy shad color with my own spin on it. So we're going to start off with a opaque white base. Next, I'm going to go to a opaque black, and I'm doing this just to try to get some depth into the scales. Since I would burn these scales in, I have some indents, and I want to fill in those indents with the black. That's the only reason I'm doing this. So after we get the black done, I'm going to repaint it in white to give me the base back. But I'm going to spray it at a high angle so I don't hit the black into the grooves of the scales. For the next part, I'm going to spray the top with the green pattern. This is going to be the very top and kind of going down to the lateral line. For my mix of paints, I used a special mix. It's the phthalo green, and then I added a pearl blue to that. So we kind of fade this out as we go down to the lateral line. Next, I'm going to accent the bait with fluorescent raspberry. Now, I want to give the bait just a little bit of like a blush feature, kind of on the white side. And then on top of that, I'm going to hit the top with just a little bit of the fluorescent raspberry to kind of darken it a little bit and to add a little bit more color to the top. The next portion is the fluorescent yellow that really kind of makes that sexy shad look. We're going to follow the lateral line with that. Now this one, we kind of want to go thick. So you're going to probably need to get real close to it and just kind of follow that line. So you're going to need to dump down your pressure on your compressor. Thin out your paint if you need to. So after the fluorescent yellow, I'm going to hit the belly, put that to the pearl white. Now this gives it kind of that flash reflectance that really, sets off the shad. Now I'm going to put this on kind of thick, but I still want that fluorescent raspberry kind of blush to show through. As, like I said, it's just going to look kind of like a fleshy tone kind of showing through the bait. Now for the final main portion of the painting, I'm going to do the metallic bronze across the top. Now the metallic bronze is really going to darken the top, but it's also going to add that metallic shine to it. Now I forgot to film it, or I got too busy to film it, and I added a fluorescent pink belly accent on the belly of the bait, and I also added the black shad dot. The black shad dot is just out of opaque black, and you're just trying to get that real tight. The other thing I added off camera was the fin accent. I just painted the fin orange to make it stand out. Now to top it all off, I added a fluorescent yellow eye and hit it with a coat of epoxy. Here is the final paint scheme. Today we're out fishing, and we're testing the new shad that I made. Oh, got one. Ooh, there's a smallmouth. Got one. Woo! go. That's a little better. There's a good little guy. Alright. Let's give this tree another go with this guy. Let's see, he's been working today. Where was it? Okay, up here. Oh, I see it. Got one. Yep, this lure's working. Another one following it. Smaller, but I got the bigger one. Woo! Oh, quit! You just hooked yourself. There we go. What a nice little guy. One more. There's a good little guy. Alright, we're trying the new lure again. It's got little chips on them. I've already caught some fish on them. If you're wondering, I'm using a Cast King reel. Gear ratio is 6.5 to 1. I've got a 13, is that bait casting rod. Fast section, medium powered. Lure weight, 1/4 to 5/8 an ounce. Alright, let's see if we can catch something here. Oh yeah. In the current. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Heck yeah. Alright, there's a pretty good one. Especially for this area. Wasn't losing him. Fun. I hit this one. Still gonna hit it. That's alright. Spinning around on me. Whoa! That's a nice one. Alright, another good one. Not too bad for this river. Alright. The lure is killing it. I've tried to here before. Pretty shallow. Let's get it. Is that tree down? I don't remember being down like that. Oh, yeah. Yep, it is. it's a little dink. Really? That's what... Wow. Wow. You got it right in the head. Here, but... That should slow me down some. Here we go. So what's nice about this lure is it actually kind of sits rather shallow, about a foot maybe, but it gets right over the top of these logs, which is great when you're fishing because I don't get hooked on one. Got another one. Oh yeah, had a big one, a little bit smaller, but still. Another fish. Yep, I get it. Oh good, he came hooked. Don't do that, don't do that. You're gonna hook me and you. Then we're gonna have some trouble. Okay, there's another one. Still a blast. Oh. Whew, if I get some hook rash on this thing. Oh, now that one I might not be able to get. Oh. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Turn it on so you can watch me fall in. Well, that lure is gone. I went over there, but it's a semi-floating sinking, so it's going to be super hard to find. And I don't feel like chasing it for a while just for no, like a 1% chance of finding it. I'll keep an eye out. You never know. But that lure is probably gone. It was working so good too. Hey, it's an Ozark bass. Ah, okay, that's what an Ozark bass looks like. All the broken spots. Rock bass will have them in a line. But yeah, Ozark bass, yay. One more. Oh, oh my. Glad I wasn't under that. Alright, if I catch a fish here, it's gonna be bad. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What? I literally just got done saying that. I think he's still on. Yes, he's still on. Alright. I can't believe this thing did that. Right at the boat. And on cue. He's not doing so good here. Ah.